Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Today's topic, locust swarms gathering and growing. We are April 4, 2020. Scripture references out of 2 Chronicles 6, verse 28. If there is a famine in the land, if there is a pestilence or blight or mildew or locust or caterpillar, if their enemies besiege them in the land at their gates, whatever plague, whatever sickness there is. So now this is Solomon's dedication prayer in Jerusalem. And that's the context of this. And the context is Israel. But I tell you what, it sure does sound like today's world here in the 21st century. I mean, we've got famine in parts of the world. We got pestilence. We got locusts. We got war, enemies, and we got a plague, sickness. We got all the above. Now, this is kind of a chain reaction, knock-on effect, if you will. As a result of COVID-19 coronavirus, countries in East Africa are running short of pesticides to combat locusts and grasshoppers. Deliveries are being affected due to the spread of coronavirus, so borders are being closed. Distribution and supply chains are being affected. And this is Cyril Ferrand, and he's leading the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, the FAO. Ferrand had the following comments regarding the locust swarms. And I quote, "If we fail in the current control operations because of lack of pesticides, then we could see 4 million more people struggle to feed their families. They are very active, very voracious, and very mobile. If we don't have pesticides, our planes cannot fly and people cannot spray. And if we are not able to control these swarms, we will have big damage to crops." I mean, they already estimate, depending on who you listen to, 25, 30 million people, upwards of 35 million people have been affected already because of these locusts. And so this is a map courtesy of the Times of Israel. I'm going to blow this up just a little bit bigger, just so you can see this is not some little one-off locust swarm that's in one country. I mean, this thing has sprawled all across the continent of Africa, Eastern Africa. So what do you got? You got Kenya, South Sudan, Ethiopia, up along the Red Sea, Yemen, Oman, Saudi Arabia. Iraq has some, Iran has some. And the concern, here's China right over here. And they got 100,000 ducks. They're ready to combat all these locusts. So that's their answer. But you can see that this is not some simple little, swarm, one or two. I mean, this is across all these countries, and they're growing. They're into their second hatch, if you will, and is spreading. And some of these things are literally the size, 30 miles by 30 miles. I mean, they're crazy huge with millions and billions of grasshoppers running around. So you got another one, and this is per the UN, and they're estimating. So down here in Kenya, Ethiopia, anywhere from a 200 to 400 fold increase through July. Somalia, Ethiopia, 400-fold increase. We'll skip across here, end up in Pakistan. Summer, 20-fold. Winter through April 20, 400-fold. So these are massive amounts of locusts that they're talking about. So, I mean, just imagine if this was just a million, which it's not. Some of these are close to 1 billion in size. Crazy numbers of grasshoppers and locusts, and they need stuff to eat. They're hungry. Just chew on that for a little bit. But the thing, to focus on, despite this, God is absolutely sovereign and he is absolutely in control. And this is his creation. And the thing that strikes me about this is the interconnectedness of world events. So one affects the other, and there's a chain reaction. And so it's not hard to come to the conclusion that famine is coming next. Grasshoppers are eating all the food. They're eating the food instead of the humans. And then people are going to fight over what food's left over. And so the end result's going to be more death. So, and I hear this from the critic, from the atheist all the time. How could God let this happen? He's just a big, mean, cruel ogre. These awful events happen for one reason and one reason only. Now, nobody wants to hear this, but it's because of sin. And it goes all the way back to Genesis 2, verse 17. But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Death is the result of sin. And humanity has brought all of this upon itself. We've continued our slide from Adam to the point that we're the spoiled little brat who refuses to take responsibility for our actions. But, there is hope. God the Father has given humanity an out. And I'll close with Romans 5, verse 17. For if by the transgression of the one, that's Adam, death reigned through the one, Adam, much more those who receive the abundance of grace and of the gift of righteousness will reign in life through the one, Jesus Christ. So he died for sin, and that's the point. He became sin for us. He took our place, and it's a real simple substitution, that what Jesus did for us, and that's the whole point of it. And he knew it from the beginning. He knew from before creation he was going to have to do this because of the choices that we make. So God does take sin seriously. And everybody, is going around thumping their chest. How could God let this happen? You can't explain this. Oh, yes, we can explain it. It's the result of sin. Now, it's not a popular answer. You may not like the answer, but that's the answer God gives. He takes sin seriously, and he doesn't like it. But that's why he sent his son. So turn to the son. He's the only answer. Other than that, we're dead. We're dead in our tracks, separated from God. And Jesus is the only one that can close the loop. So turn to him. Crazy times going on our planet, and so the issue gets to be, is this the time? A lot of people think it's the time. They're seeing stuff they haven't seen before in their lifetime. And I know there have been people say that in generations before us. But one thing that is different, Israel is in the land. Israel is a nation again. And ever since 1947, a lot of these things are now possible. And interesting time we're living in. So we don't know how long, even if he doesn't come in the next few years, at some point we will all have our end date with death, and we're going to meet him one way or the other. Whether we die and we meet him, or whether he comes to get us, we're going to meet him. Either way, where do you stand with him? So think about it, and appreciate you guys following along. If you enjoy the website, please feel free to share it with others. PaulthePoke.com. Got all sorts of other writers. Christine McDonald, she's a regularly featured author on the Post, on the blogs. Also, if you'd like to sign up, click on the blue bar. There's sometimes a gray bar here, sometimes there isn't. Type in your email address. We'll send you out something every time we post something. We're putting stuff up about 4 or 5 times a week. And then this will be categorized, locusts. This is going to be categorized under pestilence, prophecy, and SEO tags: East Africa, fall of man, famine, God, grasshoppers, locusts, Middle East, sin, sovereignty. So all these categories are on the far right column of the blog. So in this case, pestilence. Click on pestilence, for example. I'll show you. Got all kinds of articles regarding pestilence. Of course, we're going to be loaded with COVID-19 posts that have taken place. Oh gosh, I think we caught on to this early January, when China quarantined 40 million people, over 540 deaths. I was like, that's a little bizarre. Here it was, January 22nd. Caught our attention. 540 infected, 17 died. Let's quarantine 11 million people. Okay, whatever. Still don't believe those numbers. I think it was way worse than that, but Just my opinion. Take it or leave it. Anyhow, if you enjoy this, please feel free to share with others. Hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.